Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Golf. I hope you're having a great day and even better week. Today we're talking about golf trips. Now that the holidays are over, a lot of us are planning to go on a golf trip. Or you already have a golf trip planned and you're not really sure, what do I pack, what don't I pack, what do I need to bring, all those good things. I'm going to handle all that for you today. I've gone over 100 golf trips. I've learned sometimes good and sometimes bad of what to do and what not to do when going on a golf trip. So stay tuned because we're going to talk about golf trips next. So the first category we're going to talk about today is travel gear. And I don't care if you're going on a 3-day trip, a 2-day trip, you're flying, you're driving, whatever it is, we got it covered. So the first things we're going to talk about are suitcases or luggage. So depending on really how you're going to travel will dictate what kind of, let's say, bag or suitcase you need. Well, these aren't sponsored, but I want to go over ones that I have used, that I like. I'll kind of go over real quickly the features, and then we'll move on very rapidly. The first one is my Level 6. This is just my standard carry-on bag. It's a polycarbonate frame. These run between $130 and $180. You can pick them up on Black Friday. I like this. I would like one like a Rimowa that's aluminum, but I don't travel that much to make it worth spending $1,000. This one handles traveling fantastically. It does have the TSA lockout, the traditional handle like every bag has. Some features I liked about this one were the handles all over, as well as kind of the rubber stops here at the bottom. It's great, and I'll put more information about this, but for flying, this is a great for a carry-on type thing. What I also love, and this is a bag I did a couple years ago, and this is by Defy, and Defy is out of Chicago, all handmade, incredible ballistic nylon, incredible quality, great stuff. Love what these guys do. This is what I use for my gym bag, but I've also used this for travel. I think it's about a 35-liter bag. I'll put all the information up. AquaGuard zippers, it's got some great things. The other one, which I've used a lot and it's a little beat up, is the ones from Caddy Daddy. And this is kind of their rolling first class stuffle. A ton of storage, has some structure, not all structure, has a back kind of frame plate here, which I love. This is a great, and again, not a super expensive option. Cost-wise, this is again $140 to $180. This is in the 300 plus range, and this is about $150 to $200 depending. And I'll double check and I'll put pricing up as we go. But all of these are fantastic. The other thing, what I recommend for any travel, I don't care if you're in a car, it doesn't matter, but if you're going any type of travel, planes, trains, what have you, get some of these. These are really cheap. You can get, I think, on Amazon and a bunch of other places. I just latch these on multiple places, so it's easy for me to find my luggage. Even in the overhead bin, I know I'm looking for a certain green or yellow tag on mine. So for luggage, this is what we like. Now for travel bags, there's a lot of options out there. I get it. These are 3 of my favorite. They're all reviewed in the last, let's say, 9 months or so. First one is the Cube kind of bag, the least expensive, and I'll put all the information up. We just reviewed this, around $149, $159. We love this one. This is a full-length travel bag. We love this by Caddy Daddy. It has kind of a hard shell inside. I've used this bag a number of times. If you're unfamiliar with Caddy Daddy, check them out. They're one of the top quality, highest end travel bags you can get in the industry. Right around $199. This one you can get. There is a code in the comment section here in the description to get a discount. This is also, I think, our most favorite, and this is Sun Mountain, and this is their Meridian Travel. This has the snapping that comes down, and you guys have seen the other video. Right around $329, $199, $149. All 3 are fantastic options, but I would also recommend, I don't care which one of these you get a stiff arm, and I'll put pictures up because that'll keep your clubs in much better shape when you land. Your clubs won't all be snapped in half. I also am a fan, a lot of people do it where they take their heads off the shafts for their driver and fairway woods. If you have old clubs and doesn't do that, just wrap it around in like a towel or blankets or what have you, something that has a little more dense to absorb, and certainly the stiff arm. So for travel gear, these are the 3 we really like. One of the other things I highly recommend bringing, and we'll kind of discuss this as we go, is a backpack with you. And the reason I say bring a backpack for a couple things. One is to carry your DOP kit. So if you're a guy like me and my homeboy Sam up in New York, If you play 36 or 54 like we do, you may want to change or re-lather deodorant. So I love to carry my DOP kit with me, but I throw it in a backpack, and it doesn't really matter what backpack you use, but I'll also put in an extra pair of socks, underwear, and a polo shirt, and an outerwear, to be honest with you, if I know the weather is a little iffy. Another thing that I absolutely love, and you guys have heard me preach about this, is bring a shoe bag. This is a great thing to bring on nicer trips. If you're going to Myrtle Beach, you're going to Florida, you're going to Bandon Dunes, bring this with you. Don't be the guy who's walking around in the parking lot with their shoes or carrying them in. Put in something a little more upscale. These guys make a great one. I've used this for multiple years. It still's held up like it's the day I got it. The other one that we had just done for my guy Jay at Jacob Hill, he has some ridiculously high-end shoe bags as well. Not high-end cost so much, but aesthetics for sure. But definitely bring a shoe bag with you. The other thing I'd recommend real quick, besides green tagging them or yellow tag, whatever color you want to use, air tag everything. I don't care if you're going on a plane or a train or what have you. Put an air tag on every piece of your luggage so you know where it's at. So God forbid if your luggage gets lost or your golf clubs get lost, you can kind of be proactive and go rent them somewhere at either the course you're staying or somewhere around there, so you're not SOL with zero golf clubs or luggage. So for golf gear, this is a little easier than the travel gear, but golf gear, certainly your golf bag, right? Obviously bring the golf bag you're familiar with. I am not a big fan of bringing brand new stuff onto golf trips because I've been burned. All of a sudden something doesn't work the way you think it does. Test everything out before you bring it on your trip, and certainly for golf bags, maybe it doesn't fit all your gear. Bring your trusty golf bag. That's not going to fall apart, but bring a trusty golf bag that will work for you for your trip if it's 3 days or a week or what have you. Golf balls. Oh man. I'm telling you, for the guys who've been to Myrtle Beach, I probably run into you at Martin's or PGA Superstore down there years ago. What I tell everybody, what my experience is, if you lose 2 balls around on average, you're going to lose 6 on a trip. So I always go my 3X factor. So whatever you think you need, bring 3 times that. And listen, if you don't use them, fine. You don't need them all in your golf bag at once, but I would carry, if you're a higher handicap, bring 1.5 dozen golf balls with you per round. Listen, I've seen it. The guys, again, if you've been to Bandon Dunes, I've seen guys lose 6 balls in 2 holes. So definitely this is the trip to load up for golf balls. Your electronics, make sure you bring all your chargers. I have a lot of chargers I use for everything, cameras and whatnot. But now they sell these and you've seen them for years, but they have these magnetic chargers that go right on the top of your phone, or you can plug them into your cameras. Multiples of those is not a bad thing to have, especially if you're going to be golfing all day long, to run your speakers or your GPS or whatever else you have in your golf cart, or if you're walking, those are great things to have. Tees and ball markers. Don't be that guy. I've been that guy. Don't show up to a golf course and have no tees or ball markers. Be prepared. Make sure you have double the amount of tees you think you need, and always have ball markers. I don't care if it's a penny. Throw something in your pocket or your golf bag to have ball markers with you, but make sure you have them with you. One thing we'll talk about golf clubs real quick. Do I suggest bringing brand new golf clubs to a trip? I mean, you can go either way. I've had fantastic rounds with brand new stuff because I think you feel like the aura, it's brand new, it's special. But make sure it's tested. Don't go off the rack and buy something and hope it works. It usually doesn't end well. The other thing I would highly recommend is get your grips put on before you go on your trip. Make sure those are at least brand new. I don't care if your clubs are 100 years old, but make sure your grips are brand new. Golf gloves will be one of the last things we talk about for the equipment side of things. Make sure you have 2 gloves per round. Don't be a guy who brings 1 golf glove to a trip. I'm telling you, if you go to somewhere like Florida, when you're sweating through your gloves, bring multiple gloves per round. I usually carry, and you guys have seen the things I use from Asher Golf, I carry 6 to 7 golf gloves around. I don't use them all, but it's nice to have a backup. Don't ruin your great round because your golf glove is slippery because you're too cheap to bring an extra one. Bring multiple gloves. I would say if you're going on a 3-day trip, bring 6 gloves. 7-day trip, I'd bring at least 12 gloves. And if you don't use them all, that's fine, but at least have them there for the insurance. Clothing, we're going to go through this very rapidly. Clothing, hats. If you're a hat guy like most of us are, bring one hat per round per day. So if you're going to play 36, change your hat after the 18. You'll thank me later. Sunglasses. I'm a huge fan. I have light sunglasses and I have dark sunglasses, believe it or not. I bring both. I always have both in my bag, no matter what golf bag I'm using. I carry two. There's a variety, we've talked about this last year, of all the different brands, but I'm a big fan of two. But make sure your sunglasses are in good shape before you bring them. Rain gear. I don't care what brand you use. I'm a huge FootJoy fan because I've survived torrential downpours of my FootJoy stuff. But make sure your rain gear is in your bag, or at least bring it with you so you have it. You never know. I've been to Myrtle Beach where the weather was 40 degrees one day and pouring rain and 75 degrees the next day. So that goes into the kind of our next vests and outerwear. Make sure you are bringing 3 seasons of clothing. I don't care where you go. Bandon Dunes, those people in Oregon are great, but it's 50 degrees. They're in shorts and a t-shirt. May not be where you're used to, so I would definitely bring at least 3 climates of weather for golf. It could be a hoodie, could be a vest, could be just your rain gear, but make sure you're prepared so you're not clearing out the clubhouse or the PGA Superstore because you forgot all your stuff at home. Shoes. So important. We've talked about this at length. 2 to 3 pairs of shoes. I don't care if you're here for 3 days. New pair of shoes every day. I would prefer a new pair of shoes every round. And I also would say the same thing for your socks. I would say if you're on a golf trip and you're playing 36 holes or 54, change your socks and your shoes after every 18. You'll thank me. It's I don't say a game changer, but it totally changes your perspective. It brings kind of a new, let's say, lightness to your playing, especially if you're playing somewhere warm. Again, socks, we talked about a new one. I'm a huge fan of Kent Wool. There's some great ones. Smart Wool's another one that I love. Darn Tough is one of my favorites for durability, but those 3 are probably the brands that I like the most for socks. This is going to be a sensitive subject for some of you guys. I've lived this, unfortunately. Seamless undergarments. This is not the time to go try out new underwear. I don't care if it's whatever style you wear. Test it before you go on a trip for golfing. And it's the same thing for golf, really all your apparel for golf trips. I had an experience a number of years ago when I was in the Carolinas. I had a seam, unfortunately. It chafed me, and it was a long, long golf trip, and we were playing 36 and 54 every day. So test the stuff out before you go so you don't run into one of these problems, because if you go somewhere like Bandon Dunes, there's not exactly a million shopping malls near you, or Myrtle Beach. You can probably get to some stuff, but not everything. So test all your clothing before. And again, for my tops, I would suggest having 2 or 3 per day. I know that sounds crazy. If you're playing in a warm climate and you're sweating through your stuff, change your shirt after 18. Let's say you play at 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning. You're done by 11:30. You have lunch. Change your shirt, change your socks, and then you'll be surprised on how good you feel for the back 18 or the rest of your day. So that's for clothing. Miscellaneous items. There's so many things. The thing I recommend probably the most to everybody, and I have them in all my golf, not all my golf bags, but I have them for my golf bags, is a little thing called Pocket, and I put up here, and that's where it actually contains your different medication. If it's allergy pills or whatever it is, Tums, whatever you need for your trip, it is a great place to have it, and just keep it in the pocket of your golf bag. You will thank me later. Suntan lotion. Don't be the guy coming home looking like a lobster. I've been on those trips. I've been that guy. I've been to Mexico where I've golfed and hung up by the pool and literally looked like a lobster. Hurt so bad when the air conditioning kicked on, it felt like I was getting punched in the gut. So suntan lotion for sure. And make sure you bring new suntan lotion. If you don't want to bring it on your plane, I understand, but don't bring your 6-year-old suntan lotion. It's not going to do you any good. Cash, definitely bring cash. You don't have to bring it all with you on but be ready to tip the 4 caddies, the people cleaning your golf clubs, the wait staff, whatever it is at wherever you're going to play. Be prepared to have cash. I know a lot of the younger people, you don't carry cash or very little of it. Be prepared, have cash, be ready. Even if you got to hit up an ATM, don't be the guy saying I owe you. Bring cash. Couple things and we'll wrap up. Good attitude. And this is probably speaking more to myself than anybody. Sometimes you go on a trip and you've mentally prepared yourself that I got to play well, I want to play well, you're playing Ryder Cup format, whatever you're doing. You can lose your form of your game pretty quick on courses you're not familiar with, as well as maybe you're rusty. You haven't played all year. Maybe you're going to Myrtle Beach in March and you haven't touched the club all summer or all winter. The other thing I would say, have a backup plan. We've all been there. You go to trips. The weather may go to you know what real quick. Have a backup plan. Bring games. I won't say just board games, but games you can play outside of the golf course if needed. But also have a backup plan. Hey, if it rains, let's do this. If it rains, let's do this. And the other thing too is that I am a huge fan of, if you're going with a larger group, you know, handicaps range all over the place. And sometimes it's difficult to have a 40 handicap play with a 3 handicap and vice versa. But have games, if it's wolf or snake or whatever, where everybody can participate in regardless of their handicap. That's still fun. The other thing too, if everyone's having a rough time of it, forget your scores. Play more of a fun format like Ryder Cup or what have you. That can kind of keep everybody interested in playing versus a couple guys in your trip that have a good handicap and the rest are being miserable. So anyway, good attitude. The other thing, electrolytes. I'm not young by any means. I'm not old by any means. But I've learned, keep hydrated. You don't want to end up with kidney stones or at a Myrtle Beach emergency room or anything. Keep the fluids going. So I hope you guys liked kind of our experience of what we've learned to do and what not to do with golf trips. Wherever you're going, I hope you have a fantastic trip. I'd love to hear about it. So if you have a trip planned, certainly let us know in the comments. I mean, I've been to a number of places, but I love hearing about them. So, and if you guys get a chance, certainly send them to us on social media or any way you can. You can hit me up at Jeff@modrngolf and send them to me. I'd love to see your trips, where you guys are playing, how many people are playing, games you played, all that good stuff. I'm envious of all you guys. I don't get to play as often when I travel. It's more kind of work related, but I'm jealous. But certainly let us know how your trip was and where you're going, all that good stuff. So anyway, guys, I hope you had a fantastic day and week, and we will catch up with you next time. Thanks, guys.